we just kind of told students that they were not to follow the lady, that she had enough, Oswald at the time, that she had enough problems, and not to go over there and try to do anything to the ground, to her house, and I can say I had playground duty at lunch, and no one ever bothered.
This was 222 Thomas Place.
And that was directly across the street from the school.
Right.
The back of the school.
Back of the school.
Mrs. Oswald was living at the time of the assassination.
The mother of the accused.
And I never knew he lived at Birchman. That was all new to me, because the only place I knew was that his mother had lived across the street from school. But he was grown by then. I don't know. I don't know how long he might have lived at the Thomas address.
You think of anything else, John?
Not right now, but I probably will the minute we get packed up. Let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Give me just a minute, Robert.
Frank, have you spoken with any other of the teaching staff or such from the school that would have remembered Lee Oswald being there?
No. I talked to any of the staff members that were there then. As I said, I talked with the student that you have in the director there by the name of Jerry Lewis, and he didn't remember Lee Harvey Oswald at all. I've not talked with Mark Summers.
What did Mark say about remembering Lee?
I have not talked with him.
You've not?
No.
Okay, that would be interesting.
No.
His memory was that he just remembers a face. He remembers the name Lee Oswald. He remembers the 7th grade. Mm-hmm. That's all. He didn't really even tell me how long he remembered Oswald had attended. He just said, all I remember is a face, a name, and he was there and in my gym class, and that's all. I'd sure like to talk to him, though. I'd sure like to. Do you remember the name? Just this is all. We haven't mentioned this person. Do you remember the name Doug Gann?
Yes, I remember Doug. Big, tall, raw-boned kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I talked to Doug several times. Doug was the one that sent me the Arlington Heights yearbook. Doug said he thought he remembered Oswald in his homeroom.
Huh.
Which is, we've talked to Doug Gann, and said he remembered Oswald in his homeroom. He does remember Oswald shooting baskets after school in the basketball rooms, on the basketball court outside.
Oh, yeah, on the
after school on weekends and things. Yeah. And he told me Oswald was the type of a kid. He says one time Oswald shot a basket, he missed, ball rolled towards me, and I kicked it the other way. Oswald was the type of a kid that you just wanted to do that. He was just.
Well, and as I said before we started this, that I would say that Oswald would have been what I would consider a fringe student. Not. I would have thought he would have been very active in anything school-wise. And you're saying they wore a brown leather jacket. At that time, that was not considered the stylish thing to do. That would have been a fringe, rebellious group. It was just barely starting at that time.
Do you remember any of the other kids? Any kids that would have worn the leather jackets?
No. Probably Delbert McClinton.
So we were told that. That's what Fran. By the way, do you remember Fran Schubert?
I remember a girl with him, a tall, thin girl, but I think Nigel told me that was not the girl.
No, Fran is short. Her father lived on Valentine Street. She and her father and mother lived on Valentine Street.
Was her father a teacher?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Frank, can I ask you to describe physically the records? Were they 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11?
No, they would be. I'd say more like 5 by 7. Card. Trying to think what a report I would look like. My kids went to Stripling Jr High School. Seemed that the front would have had the name. He would have opened it. On the left-hand side was probably a description of what an A meant, or I recall it. Like an A, your average had between 93 and 100. I always people say, well, but he made 92. You know, why can't you give him the point? Or at least 70 was passing. Maybe 75 was passing. And then on the right-hand side would have been a list of courses in a 6-week period. You know, lines for 6 weeks, and you put the grades in. At the bottom of that page would have been attendance records, like days present, days absent. We also gave a citizenship grade, which was an accumulation of, if you had 6 teachers, each one of them gave a grade, and the homeroom teacher averaged those, and that became the grade for your total citizenship. And on the back side would have been a place for the parents to sign, and probably the name of the principal, assistant principal, maybe superintendent of schools.
Would those records have been within a file folder, or would they have been?
They've been they would have been in an envelope, and they were kept in the vault in the principal's office.
And the size of the envelope would have been
5 by 7.
5 by 7.
Yeah.
Do you have any recollection as to how thick the file was? Did it feel like there was more than just the current?
No, very thin.
Very thin.
Mm-hmm.
If he had been there for a previous year, would that previous year have been on a separate card?
Yes. Each year was recorded on a separate report card.
And you have no memory of there being
No.
more than one card?
No.
Were the records, card records, the records that you had during the early 50s, were they consistent? In other words, if I looked a report card for the year 1950, would it be similar or even identical to the report card for the year 1955 or 56 and so on? Or was there a change, perhaps?
There might have been a change someplace along the way. They were, I was a teacher Stripling from 50 through 59, and I don't remember any kind of change in the report card. It wasn't until later on that changes were made. And it was such that basic subjects were printed, and then you could write in, the electives, some electives you could
English, math.
Yeah, English, math,
spelling.
social studies. Yeah, those reading.
Spelling not in junior high.
Yeah, reading and spelling was taught in the 7th.
Oh, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Still taught in the 7th grade.
It was, and I don't know if it is now. I don't think it is now.
Now keep teaching until they get it right.
That's right.
Was there anything remarkable? I know you only glanced at it for a moment. Was there anything that stuck out? Was there a particular bad mark? Or
no, I can't. No, I can't say. I just kind of glanced at it. I've often wondered why I didn't look at them in retrospect. But at the time, it didn't seem important to me.
It's probably like my reaction. My reaction to Oswald being killed that was great. That was the best thing that could have happened. And I remember a student, or a teacher, a nurse, a school nurse, asked me what I thought. She asked me what I thought, and I said, it could happen. I said, I wish I'd had a chance, I'd probably kill him myself. And I said, what do you think, Mrs. Fraser? And she says, I think you would have had a lot to say. And I've never forgotten that. That was ultimately the truth. And what we're saying here is, I think in the same thing, Oswald's file.
Yeah. Well,
who wants to look at it?
It was, and of course, at that time, the FBI and legal authorities were almost feared. Whatever they wanted, you did. Now, you ask me for a student's record, and I'll say, well, do you have some identification, and what reason do you want it, and and you'll sign for it,
is a subpoena required now?
It might be. It all depends on what right now. If a husband and wife are divorced, and one of the parties can